Good morning.
We're sideways.
We're sideways. I feel like it's way up close. This is weird. But we're live. We did it.
You did it. I just sat here.
Well, you know. It's Thursday.
I got all this room sideways.
I know,
It takes me a long way to get off the camera now.
I know. But look, I can see the
you can see the chat.
This is awesome. Super excited. I don't know where the camera is, though.
The camera's over that side. See?
So yes, so we are live this morning, October. Oh God.
September. I'm like, I don't know.
October 10th. This Thursday morning, October 10th.
Yeah, and reason being is we did live on Instagram last week, and it didn't, for whatever
reason, Instagram said we couldn't save our live chats anymore. It's probably my phone. It's probably a user error. But hey, Sam, good morning. We decided that we would just go live here and then it will immediately save. Then I don't have to worry about trying to get it uploaded and all of that jazz.
Yeah, it's kind of a pain when you do it on Instagram. And then you get the up and down thing, and people are always going down in the comments and saying, why are your videos up and down? And in that voice.
It is. It's totally that voice.
Yeah.
So how are you this morning?
I don't know. You asked me that already.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know.
I'm good. It's Thursday. You just spilled coffee.
Did I? Oh, I certainly did. All down my hair. Yes, this has been a busy week. I feel like Q4 has hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we're running like crazy people all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else feel that way? Anybody else feel like it ramps up? Like the busyness, the craziness, whatever. The lazy reseller says, I am crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy like on a normal day, but I feel like it ramps up in Q4.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're doing a bunch more stuff. So, I mean.
Yeah. Good morning, Brian. I'm so glad you found us over here. 100 miles an hour in 35 mile hour shoes. Yes, that is exactly what it feels like. It feels like you're trying to run so fast and get in so much that I think oftentimes you feel then like at the end of the day, all of this stuff that I haven't accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you start your day, every morning I start the day and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And by the end of the day, you're like, well, crap, I didn't get half of that done. The noise on social doesn't help. Yeah, well, and then you start comparing yourself to other people.
Mm-hmm.
How are they getting all of this done? How are they doing all of this? How are they juggling it all when I can't even seem to?
Yeah, I mean, it's a real struggle. I mean, especially if you're doing this full time, even if you're doing it part time and you've got other things going. I mean, I guess especially when you're doing it part time because you've got other things going. So it's a real struggle balancing and trying to keep everything going and everything afloat.
Yeah, and still trying to be a parent, be a spouse, be a friend, you know, not just ignore people for 3 months, and not, in my case, eat French fries. I was sitting there waiting for it to start. Then I remembered refresh. Oh, yes, refresh. Yes, then the holiday madness comes. Exactly. And so you then throw in all of this stuff that you have to do for the holidays and Christmas shopping and cooking, which that's just scary. So yeah, that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today then is how do you manage everything?
Well, and I guess part of that's managing your expectations.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't plug you in.
It'll do something if you try.
Okay.
You guys look great in here. Oh, well, thank you, Sue. So I think that's a good point. When you start the day, managing your expectations and understanding that you can't do everything every single day.
Absolutely. I think I think the biggest problem I've seen, with myself especially, is having my expectations too high. I'm going to, and then at the end of the day, you're feeling like a failure because you haven't accomplished what you set out to do. I mean, nothing wrong with stretching your goals but I mean, at some point, you don't want to be self-defeating.
Yeah, Stephanie, glad you're talking about this. I think it's a very real issue that doesn't get enough airtime. That we all kind of go into Q4 thinking, I'm going to make all this money, and then you struggle to just get the basics done. I had a horrible stiff neck for the last few weeks, and it's been. Carla makes a great point that what happens if you get sick?
Oh,
And
yeah.
talk about throwing a wrench into the system. And, so keeping yourself healthy and making sure that you're eating right and all of that is important just to be able to do what you need to do. Because, yeah, you get sick and it's a downward spiral fast. But we've done that. Like, we
Oh.
had the flu and you're still
Absolutely. I've been in the hospital. I mean,
shipping and, you got to make it happen. Yeah, and stress can cause health issues. You're absolutely right, Brian. So one of the things that we were talking about this morning is time blocking. And I know there's been a lot of YouTube videos about time blocking and, how all of that works. But I think it's really important if you are trying to run your own business. And whether you're trying to run your own business part-time or full-time, doesn't matter. You only have so many hours in the day.
this many.
This many hours in the day.
Okay.
No matter who you are, unless
Well, I want this many.
if I could have this many, it would make life a whole lot easier. But I don't. I only have this many. So starting out the day and saying, okay, these are my, Monica, the Posh Hanger, calls them non-negotiables. The non-negotiables that you have to do. Yes, he does, Brian. You have more than me. So your non-negotiables. What are the things that you absolutely have to do today?
Yep.
I have to do eBay shipping today. Those, and Amazon shipping and Etsy shipping and
Whatever shipping, yeah.
Yeah,
But you have
shipping.
to ship.
every day. It's a non-negotiable. It has to happen. So the first thing, you have more than me too, team. No sleep in that house. Yeah, sleep is evading me lately. So the first thing that then goes on that time block list are those non-negotiables.
Right.
So I'm going to look at, this is the hours I have today to work. These are the things that have to happen. How long does that realistically take? And I think that's the other thing we run into is I think I can do something in 20 minutes and it really takes an hour. It's that managing expectations.
Right.
Getting up early and tired earlier. Oh, yeah.
Well, and that's another thing. I mean, anyone who's watching in the Northern Hemisphere, your days are getting shorter,
Which makes me more tired.
which makes you a lot more tired because, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you're getting dark. And it's like, okay, it's nighttime.
Yeah, it's time to go to bed because I'm essentially a 3-year-old and I need to go to bed by 8 p.m.
The street light comes on. Cindy's got to go to bed.
Exactly. So figuring that out though, and then starting from there, how long does shipping realistically take? Have you ever timed yourself?
It depends if you find all the items or not.
So walking into Q4 unorganized, not having an inventory system, then
Right.
sets you up for failure also. But have you ever timed yourself? How long does it take you if you have 10 items to ship? Because then you can extrapolate that out to, okay, if I have 30 items to ship, then this is how long it should take me to do that. So I'm going to need to time block. We have, I think, 35 items to ship today in order to pull them all, package them all, label them all. It's going to take about 2 hours, give or take. But within 2 hours, we ought to be able to get it done. So I've got 2 hours time blocked just for shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start looking at, okay, what are my other non-negotiables? What are the other things that I have to do today?
What are the other non-negotiables?
How many are eBay sales? You are amazing. eBay sales yesterday, I think were 24. I think I've got 24 eBay items going out.
And then several Etsy's.
Yeah. Then I've got,
Etsy was fire yesterday. Fire.
it was on fire.
And fuego.
And then we've got some Amazon items to go out to. Feed kids, non-negotiables. Yeah, those kids, they want to eat every single day, multiple times a day.
Eh.
You want to eat every single day. Somebody gets hangry if we don't eat. So, but scheduling that in. Scheduling in, okay, I'm going to have to ship during this time, and then I'm going to have to, lunch is going to happen. So how does that work? Am I going to have to then pull everything down, put everything away, do lunch, and then bring everything back out? Is there a better way to do that?
Right.
Is there a better time slot to do that shipping in so that I'm not having to dig it all out twice?
Workflow.
Workflow.
That's my buzzword. Workflow.
Is it? I like it.
I came up with it.
Oh, yeah. Dads need to eat too. Absolutely. So looking at your day, though, at the start, filling in those non-negotiables within those time slots, and then looking at, okay, these are the things I have to do. These are the things I want to do. So, I want to... Do you find that your shipping cutoff is your dictator to your morning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Like Mondays, because we typically don't ship on weekends. Mondays are a mess, and if we generally have a lot of stuff going on Monday, so it really screws up the rest of the day. A lot of times we'll go in with the thought of, okay, we're going to ship and then we're going to source, but shipping ends up taking us until noon.
Yeah.
And we start first thing in the morning, so it really messes up, and I don't think we've been better about planning accordingly for it, but...
Well, and right now we are in the Amazon Seller Fulfilled Prime program, which means anything that sells today before 2 p.m. has to ship today. So that becomes then another issue of I need to be home and available to ship at 2 p.m.
Right.
if I am in that program today.
If you got a last minute.
Yeah, because if I get an order at 1:58, then guess who's going to have to drop everything and grab it and go and get it shipped? Lazy Reseller says, paying attention to metrics and working my eBay store falls off the list every day. Maybe, yeah, you have to make that a non-negotiable. You have to have, however long that takes, 30 minutes, an hour, that this is the time I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be working my eBay store from 2 until 3. Period.
Well, and your non-negotiables, and this is a personal opinion, need to be done first. I mean, you can't just...
Sometimes you can't, though. That 2 p.m. thing...
Right, but I think you could balance, like, looking at your metrics and everything, I mean, just schedule out first thing in the morning, make sure I get that crossed off my list.
You don't like anything on your list.
I don't like anything on my list. I like to get, whenever I have stuff...
Yeah,
I've been for too long working in the business world.
The non-negotiables always get done first.
Well, get this done, and then the next thing I know, I come in the next day and I've got 100 more things to do, and it's like, oh my gosh, now I don't have time for the thing I meant to get done. And
yeah. So are the non-negotiables included in your goals for the day, or your they are my goals then for the day?
They have to be.
Yeah, they are absolutely part of it. Stephanie says, I've been getting up an hour earlier and it helps with the struggles. I try to focus on the things I did get done, not all the things I didn't get done. Yeah, and I think that if you can time block, then you realize at the end of the day, okay, I did get all of this done. Look, I did that, I did that, I did that. And then it allows you to, when you're in that time block for, let's say, managing my eBay store, maybe I need to spend 30 minutes every day looking at old listings and, tweaking titles and that sort of thing. Then I've got that 30 minutes between 4:30 and 5 scheduled. At 2 o'clock, I'm not working Amazon thinking, oh crud, I also need to be doing this. So my time then on Amazon becomes more efficient because I'm not in my head squirreling as
You're
much.
not squirrel braiding?
I'm not squirrel braining as much because I know I've already got that scheduled for between 4:30 and 5. So this is my time that I can really focus on Amazon. I'm going to get it done. And then for me, I can beat the clock. So
Beat the clock, not your husband.
hear me out. If I have, let's say, from 1 until 2 p.m. scheduled for Amazon, okay, but I'm done at 1:45, then guess who gets to go and play on Instagram for 15 minutes? Because I got my work done early.
Well, and that's a whole nother thing, is social media.
Oh my goodness.
I-
The time suck that is social media.
I've seen
Love
you fall down that social media trap, and you know it's ironic because we're on basically social media and hoping people watch this, but I mean the social media could really screw you up
Oh,
big time.
1,000%. You fall down that rabbit hole and all of a sudden you look up and you're like, crap, I just lost 30 minutes and I don't even know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. Like I was just
Yeah.
watching Instagram stories.
Well,
30 minutes later.
And again, this is a business. This is a business for all of us. Does watching those social media stories pay the bills?
No.
You know, so all of you people watching us, I'm
sorry.
sorry. We're not paying your
You
bills.
are so bad to
I'm sorry.
promoting our YouTube channel here. Unless the kid, Sue says, unless your kids come over, then everything's done. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I still have non-negotiables, and that's why we try to get our non-negotiables done in the morning. Because if you have older kids, they typically don't want
Just-
anything to do with you in the morning.
And then they just show up.
Yeah, and then they just show up randomly at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But our non-negotiables are done.
Right.
So if they
It
show up,
allows you time to.
excuse me, if they show up at 1 p.m., then all of the other stuff goes out the door and kids are priority. Absolutely. Kristen says, I time block with I love this. So she time blocks with TV shows and she allows herself to check social media only during the credits before the next show starts. So she goes on Netflix and she picks a show. And you have to list then while that show is on. So you're seeing how many can you list during that show. And then you only get to check social media during the credits.
That's a good. That's
Right?
Actually, that's brilliant, actually.
I love that idea of, okay, the show is still on. I still have to push through. But as soon as the credits are here, I get to go squirrel.
Well, and it's one of those things that you can have the volume up, so you don't really need, like to keep checking a clock or a timer or something. And that's brilliant, actually.
Yeah. Now, see, Minnie says she's multitasking, getting the kids ready, listening to us. So she's not wasting time.
No, she's not. And anybody's watching us, you're not wasting time.
No.
This is okay.
No. Adrian says, I would love to. I do love, like, any time that I can. Don't necessarily like to compete with other people, but I like to try to compete with myself and make myself better. I like to compete with you.
You don't like to compete with other people.
I like to compete with you. I like to beat you. That's true. But not like that. We like to see who can find better items or whose items sell more.
It's no competition. I win.
That's right. You think that. But yeah, so like YouTube videos are the same thing. Like if you know a YouTube video is 45 minutes long and it's something that you really like, then you can kind of put it on in the background and then I'm going to list until it's over.
Yep.
And then I can go on Instagram or whatever. I was doing that a lot this week. I've been down the Instagram algorithm rabbit hole. Instagram's algorithm is very interesting. But so I've been down that rabbit hole this week, but I did it while I was doing other things. So I would turn on the video and just listen to the video while I was listing on eBay or working on something else on my computer because I didn't really need to, like, you don't need to be staring at our faces during this video. I mean, I know that you should, but you don't have to. As long as you don't start watching the video and ignoring the listing, make sure, yes, yeah. If they're actually showing you something that you're gonna need to see, then that's one thing. But if it's just like this, then you can just kind
Like
of put it on.
listening to radio.
Exactly, yeah. Sam brings up I need to use do not disturb more during the day. Friends and family constantly texting. I love the do not disturb option on my iPhone. Absolutely love it.
Oh, you just don't have friends.
Well, that works too. So if you don't know, you can set the do not disturb option. If you have an iPhone, I'm sure there's an Android equivalent. I just don't know what it is. But you can set that do not disturb, and then no notifications come through. But you can tell, like our kids know that my do not disturb is on every day between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. I don't want my phone going off. I don't want it lighting up. It's just on do not disturb. But they know if you call twice within 10 seconds, so they call back to back, it will push it through and that phone will ring. So if there's ever an emergency situation, they know they can still get through, but unless it's an emergency, I really don't want to hear from you between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. Now, if I'm up early, I'm sure Nick's still here. I know Nick's up early, so sometimes I'm bugging him on text at like 3:30 in the morning, and we're having like entire conversations at 3:30 in the morning.
And Nick, if she's bugging you, just block her.
No.
That's what I do sometimes. I put you on do not disturb.
Yeah, well, you know, we've been married 20 years, it happens. But you can turn it off. So I can turn off my do not disturb at any point. Nick says he's slinging donuts, no bugging here. Melissa says, I'm doing cross-posting while listening to you all. If watching YouTube or a show must be combined with a mindless task. There you go, yeah. Don says, oh, Android has an allowed list. Only the peeps you choose can get through. Okay, that would be the same thing. Like sometimes you just need to go in and just say,
Quiet. Everybody quiet.
Yeah.
Except for you and you.
I'm going to totally focus here. I'm going to turn off all of my notifications, and I'm giving myself, you know, an hour, 2 hours or whatever, and I'm going to plow through. Because yeah, you get that text, and we are now hardwired, and sites know this. We are hardwired to look at our phones and respond when that push notification comes through. Yeah. But if like the kids text you or whatever, you immediately.
If the kids text me, yes, but I'm not like.
You don't have notifications on your phone.
Well, I do. I do have notifications, but I'm just not.
But we have been trained when that, and it's how your brain works, that when that push notification comes up, you feel like it is someone telling you you need to do this. And so we respond to it. It's why push notifications work. It's why companies use them.
Well, if they didn't work, they wouldn't use them.
Exactly. I have 0 notifications audible or visible on my phone. It will ring if someone calls, but I have to go to each app to see if anything in there is there. That's why I reply to a text 2 weeks late, Carrie says. Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot of notifications. Like I have 0 Instagram notifications. I have 0 Facebook notifications.
But you have a million texts.
I do get a lot of texts, but just when I'm running coaching groups.
Right.
When I'm running coaching groups, I get those notifications.
Well, you've got some friends that you get texts from.
I do have
so.
some friends. Look at that. And I have eBay notifications.
Yeah.
But I will say I never have the sound on. I always
Really?
have my sound turned off. Because there are times when I need to be able to step away from it. I need to be able to focus on something else. And the sound could get really annoying on my phone to anybody else in the room. But I like the cha-ching. You know what, Sam? True story. There are times when right before I go to accept an offer, I'll turn the sound on, accept the offer just to hear the cha-ching, and then I'll turn it back off. I've done that before, just to hear the cha-ching. But merch cha-chings on my computer when I'm on my computer. So I do that. I don't even know how to turn that notification off, but I've totally, see, they've all done it too. I'm not the only one. You're like, oh, I just want to hear the cha-ching.
You all got problems. That's all I gotta say.
These are my peeps. They understand me.
So if you don't hear the cha-ching, does the sale actually not happen? Is that like if a tree falls in the woods and no one there to hear
Right?
it?
Like if you don't hear it, yeah. Yeah.
Look at everybody. Oh my
See?
gosh, they're all
It's
all you
positive
people
reinforcements. Exactly. The cha-ching is like reseller crack. It is.
all need help. All of you.
It is. It's like reseller crack. So funny. Have you ever been out to the store and heard somebody else's phone cha-ching?
Oh, I have.
And you start looking around like,
Yeah.
who is it?
Yeah.
Who is it?
And what are they buying?
Yeah, and what do
if
they
we're
have?
like thrifting, what are they buying?
I was at Sarah's last week and my cha-ching went off and she got excited until I said it's mine. We forget that we hang out with other resellers. It's the same thing. Like you're like, I want it to be mine. Yeah, you have that moment where you're like, darn it, somebody else's phone went cha-ching. But I never have my sound turned on in the store, so.
Interesting.
It just vibrates. And sometimes my phone
I
vibrates. a lot.
remember we were in Vegas for eBay Open a couple of years ago, and we had like all those auctions end, and you had your sound on.
Yeah, we were in like the last meeting before it was to end, and I had forgotten that all of the auctions. This is the first time we went to Vegas. We had put our entire store at auction,
Yeah.
so they were all getting ready to end, and so we're sitting in this conference room,
And we had like 1,000 items up for auction.
and all of a sudden my phone just starts going cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Sounds like a broken cash register.
Oops, it was me. So then I had to turn it off, but.
Yeah, and everyone was looking like, who is that? And
Best cha-ching experience I had was when chatting with Brian Burke, and a cha-ching happened while chatting, and he said, congrats. It was like a bonding moment. That's funny. Brian Burke is going to be at Ecom Chicago next week. We are speaking at Ecom Chicago. He'll be there. Doug Smith is going to be there. There's another eBay employee that's going to be there.
was that a shameless plug?
It's a shameless plug. I'm super excited though, because I've been doing all of this Instagram research, and that's what we're talking about is Instagram. And do you want to be an influencer, or do you need an influencer?
Oh.
And how to navigate that either path. But
And how to choose the best influencer for you.
yes, yeah.
So maybe you want to go
So
to
I'm
hear this.
I'm excited about this because the Instagram algorithm is what did you say this morning? It was a little
remember.
a little skeevy maybe.
Skeevy, yeah, I did say it called skeevy because of the way
The way they work it. But it works. So I'm excited about that. It's
kind of like the cha-ching sound on your phone. It's
it's
little
based on that same kind of idea of
bit endorphins and all that other stuff.
dopamine and that reward based system.
What'd you call me?
So yeah, so I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get done with that, so I'm not going to put that information out publicly before Ecom.
No.
After Ecom, though, I'll do another YouTube series about the Instagram algorithm. Because evidently it changed in August.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, and it will change again.
yeah, it'll change again.
They're always dialing it up. You know, and it reminds me because I watched a TV show a couple of years ago about social media and the research that they use. And
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of psychological research
Yeah.
that they use on how people are affected because these companies make money off of people staying on their platform. And
Staying engaged. Yeah, and what do they have to do to keep you engaged?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll put up that series afterwards. I did the series this week on scaling your business. The eBay algorithm would be another good series. I don't know if that's something that I'm willing to put out publicly. I'll have to think about that. That's just being totally honest. I talk about that in my groups, but that's not something I'm necessarily.
take her coaching course if you want that one.
Wow, that was a plug.
That was not even shameless. That was just
So, but I did the series on scaling your business, and there's a little bit of that in there, but that was fun. I enjoyed doing that. I enjoy talking the business side of things.
you do. You have no
Mini Indians. Thank you.
you have no hobbies.
No.
E-commerce is your hobby.
And I hope that our hope with this channel is that we can bring together people who really want to grow businesses, that this is a business for you. It's not just a fun hobby.
Yeah.
You know, like this is business. And so for us, that's how we think about it. That's what we want to talk about. So, Minnie and it's literally 10 minutes into the first call, Ryan goes, "Oh my God, she's an eBay genius." I don't know that I'd go that far, but thank you.
Well, and again, if you're doing this full-time or part-time, this is a business. This is not, you've got time and money invested in it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it is a business. It's not a hobby. You know, I've seen a lot of people talk about this as, you know, I just sell things and resell things, and they don't give it the justification that it deserves because it's a business. You're putting money and time into it
Yeah.
and trying to get a profit out of it. And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't look at it that way. And I think,
Well, it goes back to the time blocking. I'm very part-time with my hours, but very intentional with how I work. Exactly. And it goes back to that time blocking and back to, okay, you have X amount of hours to put into this, so I can make, you know, $100 an hour, or I can make $10 an hour. It's just in how you look at it and how you want to build it. And yeah, so, you know, we're not just, we have fun, but we're not just here.
oh,
having fun.
absolutely. I mean, we wouldn't be doing it if we weren't having fun. If we hated it,
Yes.
we would find regular jobs.
We hated corporate jobs. We are not corporate peeps. I don't think at this point we'd be employable at a corporation.
You know, I enjoyed corporate life to an extent,
Oh, I hated it.
but the, as I learned, the higher you went up, the more people went after you.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. And I felt like, you know what? Not worth it.
I hated it from the start. I hated it. I'm going to put up a post over on Instagram today. You don't even know this yet about how we met. So
Oh, brother.
that's a funny story. But I really wanted to, that was just a squirrel rabbit trail that I hadn't told you about yet.
Welcome to my life.
I've been in corporate 18 years and I hate it. Yeah, it's hard. I'm a marketer, source, social media manager, account, data entry, fashion merchandising, shipping department, seamstress, launcher, research, data analyst. Gotta treat myself as a, yes, absolutely. I don't miss the office politics. Yeah,
Yeah,
office
I mean,
politics.
that was the
are-
worst. That was the worst part. You know, and again,
For both
as,
of us, yeah.
as you climb that corporate ladder, the politics were just harder and harder. So,
Good
it's-
morning, hot chick.
and again, I mean, if you're in that job right now and you're not liking it, we do this full time. We pay all of our bills, and we're sending a kid to college, and
We got 2 more coming.
we got 2 more coming, and
We've done private school. Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
Mortgage,
a
cars.
house, you know, so it can be done. It can absolutely be done. And you know,
Yeah.
you just have to put the work into it. But again, treat it like a business.
Yeah, too much stress for things you couldn't change in the corporate world. That's what we found. Now, some people absolutely love their corporate jobs. They work for great companies. There are a lot of benefits to it.
Oh, sure.
Steady income, benefit packages, things like health insurance that are incredibly expensive when you have to buy them on your own. So there are definitely benefits to it. But yeah, if you're like, ooh, I would really like to make the shift, it's completely possible. But it starts by looking at how much time you have today and maximizing that time.
Well, and my biggest suggestion there is do not quit your job and decide you're going to start selling full time without any experience.
Yeah.
Start selling part time
Yeah.
on the side.
Get your income to where you need it
Get
to
your
be.
income, get yourself so you feel comfortable on the platforms you're selling on.
Yeah. Lily says, I can't say corporate did teach me about customer service, though, that it is something I'm transferring over to my reselling business. Corporate, I think, yeah, teaches you a lot. For me, it's just business. It's just business.
Which is, you sound like the Godfather.
It's not emotional.
No.
You know, when somebody, So we worked in a corporate setting where people are calling in to buy large amounts of product or whatever. They're trying to beat you up over the price, just like the low baller on eBay.
$5 free shipping.
$5 free shipping.
$5 free shipping.
But when the guy calls in and he wants this product at half of your list price, it's just business. You don't take it personally then.
You still take it personally.
Sometimes, not generally though.
Sometimes you do, though.
Oh, of course, we all have days.
Yeah.
But thumbs up for $5 free shipping. But yeah, when that guy called in and you were working your corporate job and he wanted a discount, you didn't take it personally.
No.
You didn't say, "Oh my gosh, he's so mean."
Well, I'll tell you the difference why. Because when I was working at that corporate job, it wasn't my money. And working here, this is my money. So when someone offers me,
a
I
good
feel
point.
more insulted because it's my own money.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference.
But you have to look at it as a business. It's
Oh,
just,
absolutely.
It's just business.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at it that way. They're not thinking, I'm taking $5 away from your kid. They just want $5 off the shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be honest with you, I'm sure every one of us have gone to flea markets and garage sales, and someone had something priced for something, and we offered them less than what it was priced for. So we've all done it.
Oh yeah, we've all been on the other side, and it's fine then. But
Yeah.
when we're on the seller side, we're like, how rude.
Yeah.
It's just business. It's just business. It's just a product.
But and again, it brings me right around. It's a business. This is a business.
Yeah, and the buyer doesn't care about our issues or what we paid, yes, or what bill you have due this week. They're not thinking about any of that. They just want the item. They just want to get a deal.
Yeah.
They just want to get a deal. So yeah, but it comes back to then maximizing your time to maximize your profit and your ROI on your time.
Well, that's another good point. Time is money. And time is probably the most valuable commodity
That you have.
that you have when you're selling. And a lot of people don't give that enough credit either. You know, I mean, so when we say block your time and all that other stuff, I mean, you're blocking money.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think when you sit down to time block, you suddenly realize how little time you have.
Oh,
You know, when I sit down and I look at, okay, these are the hours throughout the day. This is these are my opportunities today. I realize how few of them there are.
yeah.
Kristen says, excuse me, getting a message notification from a buyer is like, please come to my office moment from the boss in corporate. Nervous until you know if it's good or... That is so true. Anytime you get that message from a buyer, you're like, oh.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, oh snap. That's what I say. Oh snap. Yeah, and then when you open it and it's like, I love this item.
You're like, oh, that happened to you last week. You got a notification from like, oh no.
What's this gonna be?
What's this going to be? And it was someone that just said I love the item, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh.
I think that's the best thing. Hey, Lauren, Coal City Loot. Yeah, we're live on here because Instagram doesn't like me anymore. They don't like it when I try to save my lives. So definitely, I think though, if you'll sit down with a planner, with a journal, with whatever, and look at how much time you have, then you suddenly realize this is why I never felt successful at the end of the day. Because like you said in the beginning, my expectations to what I could do in those hours was here. And reality is here. This
Yeah.
is what I can do.
Yeah. So I guess really manage your expectations.
Yeah.
You know, and if you got to start out with easily attainable goals, just so you can feel like you're accomplishing. If you're going through every day and you're feeling like I haven't gotten anything done, I can't do anything. Reel back those expectations and start feeling good about yourself at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
Yeah, you have to pile up the wins.
Yeah.
You need some wins in your corner so that you feel like you have the motivation to continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And then start building on that. so you don't feel defeated at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then you start realizing, okay, I can actually do this in 30 minutes. It actually doesn't take me an hour, so that frees up then more time. All right.
So there you go.
So with that, I think we're gonna be done here, and we still have non-negotiables on our list for today. But thank you guys for joining us over here on YouTube, and
Thumbs up, please.
like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, your neighbors, your dog. I don't care. It maybe your dog's on YouTube. Maybe they like to watch YouTube. You never know. So, but thank you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us and chatting with us. We will be back live next Thursday. And I will come up with another series to do here on YouTube.
Well, there you go.
So have a great day, everybody.